yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Let me hear you say it. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah. What's up, chosen ones? Yeah, girl. Surprisingly in a better mood after the gym, even though everyone's like so annoying. Oh my god, everyone's so annoying. You know what I'm saying? Like, is anyone else feeling the agitation that like literally every other single person just annoys you, even if they're like not even trying to? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm feeling pretty okay, but like at the same time, it's a sacrifice to live a life for God. And it's a sacrifice I'm 100% willing to make. But I'm just saying there's things that I give up. And there's things that I decide to intentionally be okay with going through for the sake of glorifying God's name. It just made me think of that verse. Is it Matthew? It's like, leap for joy because know that like whenever like others are hating on you or giving you that like hate, jump for joy because this is a reason to celebrate because it means you have everlasting life or something like that. Is that Matthew? You are, yeah, kind of back to what we were doing a couple days ago. I think Monday's video. Happy are you when people reproach you and persecute you and lyingly say every sort of wicked thing against you for my sake. Rejoice and leap for joy, since your reward is great in the heavens, for in that way they persecuted the prophets prior to you. Whoa. Yeah. Love that. I love that. Does it really say leap for joy? Huh. That's so cool. What a perspective. What an optimistic perspective. We gotta love that, right? We're gonna put a little check mark next to that because I like it. Rejoice and leap for joy, since your reward is great in the heavens. Happy are you when people reproach you. This is Matthew 5, verse 11. Happy are you when people reproach you and persecute you and lyingly say every sort of wicked thing against you for my sake. Jesus' sake, obviously. Rejoice and leap for joy, since your reward is great in the heavens. Yeah, that's what we just gotta like. That's what we gotta stay focused on, is that this is a really temporary life. This pain is temporary. The diseases we go through, the heartbreak we experience, the grief in the morning, the regret, the misery of any sort, it's all temporary on earth. And today's video is on 347. Right as I looked at the thing, it said 347. I don't know. I like numbers, and I'm always seeing 7, so it makes me happy. Today's video is like kind of explaining why, as a chosen one, you get such horrible treatment. And I'm so glad that like verse just like came to mind. I love Matthew. Matthew is like so good. In Philippians, such good books of the Bible. But yeah, you know, if you decide to choose a chosen life, then be prepared to be a warrior for God, and that's amazing, and that's a badge of honor and pride you can wear and know in your heart and have integrity that that's the life you're leading. Just be prepared and be prayed up on all these areas. But I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4 things 5 things total that will happen to you if you're chosen, is you will be violated, and it can be like a physical violation. It'll be like for sure your privacy violated. There's a lot of tactics to attempt to isolate you. So they'll hackers or gang stalkers, or like those who are attacking TIs, targeted individuals, will find their way into the victim's phone or all technological devices. It's really not that hard. Technology is available today 100%. It's not that like far off to think about how people are able to watch me right now while I'm filming. I don't know how, but like I know that I'm always being watched. For example, I got like a random phone call in the middle of my tanning session today, and I get like, so that will be another thing that happens, like another specific example, like you'll get a bunch of spam calls on your phone. And you'll be targeted especially if you live in an apartment building. Like, I don't want to say you're done for. Of course you're not, but like be prepared to just like that. You're such easy pickings in an apartment building. That's why I'm praying for land and praying for a truck and praying for a home that I can build and paint myself, obviously with somebody, but I'm praying for my own land, my own truck, some stinky animals. I love me some stinky animals. And like a bunch of land, so when I look out, I don't see another human for like miles. I'm so sick of the city, you guys. I am so fed up with the city. It's just demonic, and there's just there's literally a demon on every corner, and there's danger lurking on every corner. And for those who are single and female, you will be targeted the hardest as a TI or someone who's suffering as a victim of gang stalking. And gang stalking is another term for spiritual warfare. It's just it's a sophisticated, organized, systematic plan to destroy you. So we'll go back to the list of 5 things that will happen to you. I kind of like the five things. I feel like that keeps things organized, and I kind of like it. I feel like I'm getting better at like holding my platform down. Bam. So yes, you will be violated. Expect that. You will be humiliated. They'll just like put you in certain situations, like just see how you react. So everything's going to be how you respond. If you lose your temper, you could very possibly go to jail. So you need to make sure that you're regulated, and before you do anything that's like expending your energy output, make sure you're checked, make sure you're straight, make sure you're aligned with your P's and your Q's, and you got your I's dotted and your T's crossed. Because if somebody is able to trigger you, then you're their slave. If somebody is able to emotionally F with you over and over and over, then they're your master. Don't let anybody have control over how you feel. Don't let anybody control your thoughts when they're not even around you. That's another level of effed up. Refuse that treatment. Refuse that level of oppression. Call on Jesus' name, and he will deliver you from any and every type of pain or misery you could imagine. He knows exactly what you're going through. He can read your mind right now. He can predict the words you're going to say before you say them. He knows what decisions you're going to make. He knew you before you were even born. You don't think he can help you out of this pain today? He absolutely can. He absolutely can. And I had that thought today while I was just getting off the rowing machine, and I surprised myself. I wasn't that slow. I mean, I was able to keep up with my splits. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back for doing a good job. For showing up, because that's part of it, right? That's 100% part of it. Just showing up to the gym. But I think I usually do 7,000 on the rowing machine. Love it. I love it. And, but I did 5,000. I did 4,000. No, I was like 4,500, and I almost quit early because I was like, ooh. But I think I went all the way to 5,000, and then my split at the end was 24 minutes and 24 seconds. And I was like, Cool. That's what I'm saying. I like numbers, and I love the rowing machine. I love it so much. I really might invest in my own rowing machine. I think I definitely will do that, like, in my next 5 years. But the gym's cool to show up to and be social. You know what I'm saying? Pretty cool stuff. So that's what I was just getting off the rowing machine today, though, and I was like thinking about how miserable I felt, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm okay, but like I was like, man, I just did 5,000 and I'm bummed out that I can't do a 2K race. I usually do a 2K race with myself and like race myself with the ergonomic will read you your numbers and you can like do a race. And I love to do my 2K splits and like challenge myself. And I was like, I got off the rowing machine. I was like, well, okay, on Monday or on Tuesday, the day after the injury and accident, I did like 2,000, 1,000 kilometers. And that's something. I was listening to my body and like going as far as I could, but not wanting to push it. And then today I was able to go 5,000. So that's in progress for sure. And I was just like getting up and I was like, then I like felt this like, I think it was a sermon I listened to last night. Cause like, I tell you guys, I always fall asleep to Bible verses. It is so helpful. It is so healing. It's like a really nice, like calm narrating voice that's just saying Bible verses to you while you sleep. It is just the most healing thing ever. I love YouTube for that. And I think what I heard last night was that if you share with God or if you that he will deliver you from any and every like type of misery and pain that you're feeling, and he's capable of getting you out of your maybe schlump that you're going through. Like I was like definitely in a little bit of like pretty bad mood. Even though I was like releasing endorphins and stuff, I just I'm pretty I'm just not chipper, like, and it's fine. Like until I'm healed, I'm not gonna feel like my normal self because injuries and accidents can really affect your emotions and your mental efficacy of like, what am I capable of doing? And you feel less capable of saving the world when you're limited in your like physical mobility, which is what I am right now. But I'm getting better each and every day. It is getting better. I think now in hindsight, I'm looking back and thinking why God had this happen is because it's kind of taking my mind off of like the withdrawals, like I have something like a bigger problem, like a bigger fish to fry, so to speak, rather than thinking about how I haven't had like a ciggy or like a joint, and like I'm not. I'm glad to like have some like a bigger problem to deal with while I'm going through quitting these addictions. And so yes, it's a big plate to handle like on 1 week, like healing from injury, getting rid of addiction, getting rid of other addiction, and just those are basically my issues right now. And like, I mean, a couple of like interpersonal issues, always, there's going to be like some type of thing like that, always, like interpersonal is never going to be perfect. So I'm kind of seeing God work through this week now that I think about it in hindsight. So a couple other things that will happen while you are a chosen one and you decide to take that path with Jesus is you will just be mistreated, like horribly mistreated. There is one personal experience I could share. I'm not gonna like pity party over it, but I was like getting groceries once and I didn't realize that the store was closing. But I had like a full cart, a full cart, and I was really busy at that time in my life, so I was responding to some emails, and I had work early in the morning, and I was in a relationship at that time, so I was like, my mind was occupied, and it was a new relationship, so I was like extra occupied. You know how that goes. And I just heard some employee of the Fred Meyer's I was shopping at yell at me, and she just screamed like, "Hey!" She was like it sounded like a man, but I looked over and it was like a female, and I was like, that's interesting. And she's like, hey, and like pointed towards like a line. I was like, I like kind of looked at her. I was like, is she really talking to me like that? And Google says that Fred Meyer's in Salem, Oregon. That's my hometown. Closes at 11 p.m. and they close at 10 p.m. So I like explained that, but they were still like assholes because they made me take all my groceries out of the cart. And I was waiting for my Uber because I've never had a freaking car like ever. I get like frustrated by like how much that like debilitates me sometimes, but because it's like I want to feed myself, and then it's like you have to wait for not having a car. Like, yeah. You know, I'm gonna be stronger for every single thing I've gone through in my life, and be a better person for going through it all with integrity and trying to keep an attitude of gratitude. So at least I still had the Uber show up, but I had to wait 12 minutes, like 12 minutes, ETA, like picking you up. And then I like showed them, I was like, can I please keep my groceries in the cart? And like, I got some like vases for flowers because your girl likes some flowers in the house. And they made me take out all my groceries, put it on the asphalt in the parking lot because they needed that cart and it was a liability. And I said, I was talking to them and I was like, it was like 8 employees and they were just standing silently behind this one like lady. And it was the same lady that yelled at me. And none of them said anything, but I was like, excuse me, like, I think that your cart is going to be absolutely fine. I will put it back after I put my groceries in the back of this Uber that's about to come. Fuck your cart. I think I told her that. I was like, fuck your, like, rules. Like, I just bought $300 worth of groceries, and I know you're closing, but I will put the cart back but they, like, made me take out my groceries and, like, vases and stuff, and, like, imagine putting your groceries like on gross like asphalt. Like I was in the freaking parking lot and waiting for my Uber. And the funny thing is that I was literally 0.75 mile, less than 0.75 miles away from my apartment. I lived so close to the apartment, but I wasn't going to carry like all these groceries. And so that was a time where I was like, what? And that was like, and like in hindsight, they were irritated by something. I don't know what, but when I found out later on, I discovered Trend Genius's channel that summer. This was last summer. This was last spring. And then spring got really bad. I came down with some health issues. That boyfriend and I didn't work out. It was a very painful time for me. And then going into the summer, I found Trend Genius's channel and I was like chosen one. And then I saw like a couple of titles of like, and then I got really more educated and alert to what was going on. And then I thought about that grocery time and it made some sense. So if you've ever had a situation where you were just mistreated horribly for like no apparent reason, you know, then actually take heart and know that that was confirmation you was really hot. People don't lash out at others if they're not triggered by someone else's like either apparent success or even the way they look or even the clothes they're wearing, the bag that's around their shoulder. You don't know what it is that's triggering that person to make them treat you so badly. But just know it's their problem and God will handle it. Oopsie. And God will handle it. So I'm sorry if you ever had to go through like a situation similar to that or where you're just treated horribly. And know that God will handle that. And just ask him, could you please like fight some of these battles for me? And I will glorify your name, but I need some backup. Please, Jesus, like, can you make sure that that gets handled? Like, kind of, you can 100%, you can talk to God like that. I definitely recommend like praying on knees and like being like very like fervent and like respectful and like respecting and listening to his commandments, because the thing about his commandment, it's not a question. It's not like an optional thing. And so when we disobey like the commandment, we're telling him that he's not worthy of reverence. But we kind of, as humans, daily sin. So I just really keep it in mind that the more you're respecting and listening to his word and like what he tells you and puts on your heart, it's kind of you're kind of like a soldier for Jesus, so it's an order, so to speak. It's like if you ever had like a lieutenant and he's like, I need you to get a platoon of men and go on the front line of XYZ. That's kind of what God is telling us sometimes to do, and it's not a question. That lieutenant is not asking that sergeant, or I don't actually know like hierarchy of military all that well, but you know what I'm saying. Like the upper guy is telling the other guy in the military, like, go and do this. Like it's not a question. It's an order. So kind of take it the same way. Like when you feel God telling you to do something or say something or reach out to somebody, it's that little tugging, persistent voice in here. You know what I'm saying? And it's quiet and it's still and it's persistent. That's God's voice. And then we got two more things that will happen to you when you are a chosen one and or TI, getting stopped. It's just any situation where they'll humiliate you, where they can do that easily. Excuse me. I am feeling a little bit better. I am feeling a lot better, actually. I think today was going to be like the hardest day. I still can't get over that I woke up exactly at 2:22. It's like, what does that mean? That's why I'm saying this life is so cool and mysterious. Like, I know that it's hard as hell, but like, there's so many cool moments of like mysticism. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, pretty cool to be alive and pretty cool to have a platform to talk and share my ideas. How was everyone's day though? Gucci Louis Prada? Was your bam? Shout out to Jess for your encouragement. I really appreciated that comment. Really a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone else too. Shout out to Ash down south. And Matthew and everybody who's just leaves those comments. It makes a big diff. Thank you so much for the comments and for always just tuning in is huge and liking the video, any of that. I appreciate every single little bit. Thank you. I wanted to share, and then I wanted to share too that if you're in the elevator too, like if you like in these apartment buildings, you'll really get targeted if you're in apartment buildings. They can easily come into your home and tamper with things. They can easily put and I know this sounds insane. I know this sounds some of the stuff like I'm saying I'm so cash about it, but or cavalier about or whatever, but it really is true. Like people will perps or agents. They're a person that was sent to do harm to you. And they'll put like chemicals underneath your door, or somehow tamper with any of your like tools or necessities so that you don't have peace. Essentially, they hate that you have peace in here. Like your level of peace is something that they could just never even imagine or entertain. And so they just want to like ruffle your feathers and just poke the bear and ruffle the feathers until you start to feel like you're gonna lose your patience, and then eventually lose your will to live, and then eventually self-delete. It's a really vicious and insidious system to cleanse the world of the chosen ones and cleanse the world of really important, amazing, special people that are truth sharers, people that don't hold back, and people that share the knowledge and the truth of what's really really unveiled in our society as like what functions well, and truth tellers. That's the word I was looking for. So for example, I always see the same. I get targeted hella in the elevator in my apartment building. So sometimes people ask, how do you know if that's like a gang stalker, like out in public, or if it's just someone like kind of looking at you? It's kind of like that look that they give you where it's like, oh, it's him. Oh, it's her. It's kind of like this look Like you could see an energy in for me, I know that I am able to transmit energy, or excuse me, information, even without like really trying. And that gets uncomfortable sometimes. And I know a lot of people don't believe me that I can like transmit information, but I 100%, I know what I know about my brain and my feelings and my intuition. And so it'll be like me coming into the elevator and I can just feel the energy, and it's like, feels like they were put up to something and they're looking at me so freaking weird. It's not someone just taking the trash out, a neighbor minding their business. It's like they're holding the door open. They're like looking at you, like excited to like devour you and make you feel like, you know? And that's why I'm so sensitive to energies now that if there's another person in the elevator, I just go forget it and I just take the stairs. I don't care if that person's offended either. I'm done feeling other people's energy when I don't want it. So I'm really getting ready to like move out to the country somehow, somewhere, and like build my own house and paint it myself with somebody, and get a truck and some stinky animals and just a shit ton of land. Sorry for cursing, but I like a poop ton of land, and just not see another soul for like hundreds of miles for like a straight year, and then I'll be like able to handle a city again. But it's so much here. It's just so much, especially as a young single female. I've noticed that I've decided, while I'm going out and about, I stop showing skin. I just stop looking up, and I don't even, in the gym today, I don't think I took off my sunglasses once. I like kind of went in there with a little like pissed off attitude. Honestly, it was just, I'm sick of getting harassed, and then always try and catch your eyes as your attention. And my eyes always give me away. People know there's something different about me when they see my eyes. So I try and cover up my eyes. And as I'm getting older, I'm more and more keen on covering up when I'm out on the street, and just don't give men any more visual, because they're already very imaginative. So even if you're completely covered up, they're still like, and I could feel, I could like feel this guy like just straight up checking out my cleavage while I was doing like the tricep workout, because it's like you kind of push your chest together while you're doing that one. Like, I love that one. It makes me feel so good. It's like the auxiliary, and it's like the two ropes and you go like this. I love that one. And I was like telling myself, like while I was working out, that I was very aware that he was like catching little sneaks and gleeks, because women know when men are looking at our cleavage. We just do. Even if you're behind us, we know when you're looking and checking us out. And I think men know what's going on too when women are looking at them. But I tried to tell myself, this is their problem. This is their problem. But then I was also like hanging out, just doing some art tonight too in the gym, like in the black card room, which is where the like total body enhancement or the tanning is. And I called a friend who's on the West Coast, and we talked for like 3 minutes. It was a very short phone call, but it was very positive. And that was just enough for some creepo rando Joe Schmo to stand in my space a couple feet away from me. I'm just chilling in the chair and I'm doing my art, and like on the phone with a friend. And I said, "Okay, sweetie, thank you so much. Like, yeah, great to talk to you. Just have a great shift, and you're the best. Peace out." And it was a very positive conversation. I was calling to tell him like that I wasn't feeling the best, but we kind of have an inside joke about how nobody gives a shit. And we just kind of call each other and be like, "Hey, nobody gives a shit." Like, it's kind of like our funny like thing that we do. Like when life is hard, we're like, "Yeah, nobody gives a shit." Like, but then we know that like we give a shit. So like for at least each other, because we're like good friends. But anyway, that was enough positive energy for this random Joe Schmo to come up, and he like bent down like this, and then like made eye contact with me, and then tried to say something, and I was just so over it. I just like, actually I was scared. That's what it gets annoying, is like I actually puts fear in me. So I knew that I was aware like towards the end of the phone call that he was like loitering around me like too close. But as a chosen one, like you have like positive energy, and people will like be drawn to you. So I don't really blame them, but like also like fuck off. I don't know you, and you're like getting down to my eye level trying to like make eye contact with me. And he said something, and he made me have eye contact with him, and I was alone in this room, and I'm always just like, men are so like bored. Some people are just so bored with their lives, they have to come and fuck with yours. And sorry for cursing. I am a little agitated and frustrated recently, and I feel like cussing doesn't bring any more good energy into the room, but it emphasizes, you know, how I'm feeling. So I'm glad we talked about all these things, though, because the main point of this video is that the fifth thing that will happen to you, that their whole point and purpose in targeting you is to dehumanize you. That's the point. They want to dehumanize you and make you feel like your needs and worries aren't valid. There'll be a lot of gaslighting. Consistently making you feel like you're not safe, consistently making you feel like you are being constantly surveillance or, you know, monitored. And it's all to dehumanize you and to make you feel low and low and low and lower and lower and lower until you eventually self-delete. That's their hope. That's their hope. They don't have any other control. Like, it's all how we respond. It's all how we respond. But there's one last point I wanted to make. I know this video is going over a little bit, but if there's $100 bill and you go, I heard this from a long time ago. I don't know exactly where, but it was an example I heard of, and I thought it was really good. But it's just like a metaphor, right? So as a chosen one, say that you're a $100 bill, right? And then there's that metaphor. And then, like, say that you have this $100 bill, and then you go and you ask this crowd of people. Let's say there's an audience, and you're like on a stage, and you're like, everybody, what is the value of this $100 bill? And then everyone's like looking at it, and they see 100 on it, and they're like, it's $100. The value? It's $100. And he's like, right. Then he takes it, and kind of looks at everyone around and again, and then rips it in half, and then goes, everybody, now what is the value of this $100 bill? And everybody's like, well, you cut it in half, so is it like 50-50, or is it still 100? And then he's like, well, it's still 100, it's still 100, it's still 100. The value of this $100 bill is 100, even though it's been ripped up. It's kind of like the point of other people will try and tell you what your value is, right? But if you know all along that you're $100, and that's just a metaphor example. If you want to do $1,000, you go for it. And like, you're like, I know that my worth is this much. But if you let other people decide for you, even if it's ripped up, so say you've been through a couple of things, and you got a couple bruises, and you've been through some SHIT, and you still got a smile on your face, but you know what some pain is like, you know, you've been through some life, then it's gonna kind of be like it might get a little harder down the road to decide what that value is for yourself and maintain that $1,100 bill value that you know is in here. Don't give other people the option to decide your value. So like, say like you take the $100 bill, and it's broken in half now. It's ripped in half, and then you take it and you smash it, and you stomp on it, and you do all this, and then you pick it up again, and then you like ask everybody, how much is this worth? Is this still $100? And everyone's like, no. You know, they're gonna, of course, say like, no, like it's ripped up, you can't use that. But if you know that you're always at the value of like 100% max of like that $100 bill, then you are in control of your own identity. Don't let other people tell you what your value is. Don't ever let anybody make you feel less than what you really are. And I think it was Eleanor Roosevelt. When I get excited, I talk fast over myself. It's funny. I believe Eleanor Roosevelt was the one that said, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Mic drop. Boom. That's it, you guys. I know we're at like 35 minutes now, so thanks for chilling. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out with your girl. I hope this message enlightened you, brought some type of clarity, healing, and or peace. As always, too, a little bit of humor is good for the soul. So I'm so grateful to have this platform and share with you guys my thoughts and hopefully encourage y'all, with the good word and some good points. And yeah, don't let anybody make you feel inferior without your consent. You is awesome. You is hot. You is doing the thing, like you're living your life, boo. Don't let anybody else try and make you feel bad because temporarily where they're at, they hate it. Or they just don't like something, or they see something in you that they'll never have. And just call it out when you see it. Don't put up with that stuff. You are your best friend that will step up for you if you see somebody else mistreating you. Be like that best friend for yourself and be like, hey, you can't talk to my friend that way. I remember one time I was hanging out with my brother and there was these mean kids on the block or something. And my brother and I were playing, and it was a big yard, big dirt thing, big dirt project. It was a construction thing. I don't think we were supposed to be playing in there. And there's tractors and stuff, but then the other kids were in there, and the other kid threw big dirt rock mounds over and almost and it landed right next to me and my brother. We were probably 6 and 8. I was 6 and he was 9, and he went, nobody throws a rock at my sister. He got up really quick and then grabbed the rock and then to go chase them or throw it back at them or something. But I was blessed enough to have an awesome, amazing brother like that that's got my back. But if that family member isn't there for you, or if that friend isn't there, regardless, still be that person for yourself. Be your best, defense. Let your higher self come in and protect you and defend you, because you deserve the best, homie. You is so hot, people can't even digest how hot you is and how amazing you're doing in life. If you're watching this channel and you got to the end, you're for sure chosen. I appreciate you guys so much, and I really just can't wait to continue to do more content. Having this platform is my bread and butter in my life right now. So thank you for allowing me to share my personal experiences and struggles, and hopefully it will encourage you to be, for all of us to be our best versions of ourselves, because we can do it one day at a time. Love you guys so much. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay chosen. Peace.